My parents said the car I bought with 7 years of waitress tips belonged to the family, then helped my sister leave me in the desert. I showed the officer what was on Mom's phone. The sun beats down like a hammer against an anvil, each ray searing my exposed skin as I stumble forward. My throat feels like sandpaper, my tongue swollen and useless in my mouth. I check my phone again, one flickering signal bar that appears and vanishes like a mirage. Please, I whisper to no one, my voice lost in the vast emptiness of the Arizona desert. Please, connect. I press the emergency call button for the 5th time, watching the screen with desperate intensity. The call drops immediately. Again, 45 minutes ago, life had been normal. Bella and I were driving back from Tucson, the air conditioning struggling against the afternoon heat. Odessa, I think something's wrong with the tire, Bella had said, her voice casual, unconcerned. Can you check it? I thought I heard something. I'd pulled over without question, the good sister, the reliable one. The moment my feet hit the gravel, I'd bent to examine the perfectly fine front tire. As I was examining the tire, 10 seconds later, the engine revved. When I straightened and turned, dust was already billowing around me. Bella's face a blur behind the windshield of my Chevy, my car, as she sped away. I stood frozen, mind refusing to process what my eyes had seen. My sister had just abandoned me in the desert. I stumble over a rock now, catching myself before I fall. The memory of finding those papers in Dad's study last week burns hotter than the sun overhead. College tuition receipts for Bella, thousands of dollars, neatly filed away while I worked double shifts at Rosie's Diner to put myself through community college. 7 years of waitressing, saving every tip, working holidays and weekends to finally buy that used Chevy. My car, my freedom, my only real possession. Just until I get on my feet, Bella had said the first time she borrowed it without asking. Then the second time. And the 10th. I'd finally stood up at dinner 3 nights ago, palms flat against the kitchen table. I'm selling the car. I got a job offer in Phoenix. The silence had been immediate, heavy. Mom and Dad exchanged a look I'd seen 1,000 times before. That's the family car, Odessa, Dad had said. Not a question, but a statement of fact. But it's in my name, I'd replied. The registration papers clutched in my hand like a shield. I paid for it. Every cent. Your sister needs it more than you do, Mom had added, the familiar refrain that had followed me since childhood. When Bella went to summer camp while I stayed home to help around the house. When Bella got new school clothes while I got hand-me-downs. When Bella's college was paid for while I worked and studied and worked some more. The memories blur together as heat waves ripple across the desert floor. I think of my childhood bedroom. Walls bare, while Bella's room overflowed with posters and trophies. I think of the keys always missing from my purse, of plans canceled because Bella needs the car tonight. I'd finally said no yesterday when Bella asked to borrow the car again. Just one simple word that had felt like swallowing broken glass. No, no. Dad's face had darkened immediately. Family comes first in this household, Odessa Lynn. You know that. Mom's eyes had filled with tears. After everything we've done for you, I'd looked between them. These people who had raised me to believe I was less deserving than my sister. And something had shifted inside me. A lifetime of bending until I nearly broke. The car is in my name, I'd said, my voice steadier than I'd expected. I worked for it. I'll decide what happens to it. The shock on their faces had been almost worth the chill that followed. The silent treatment, as I prepared for bed. Almost worth it. Not worth this. And now, as reality strikes back, I shield my eyes, scanning the horizon for any sign of civilization. Nothing but scrubland and cacti. My phone shows no service now, not even a flickering bar of false hope. The irony doesn't escape me. All those years working for independence, and here I am, completely dependent on the mercy of strangers, if any happen to drive by this desolate stretch of highway. My foot catches on something and this time I do fall, hands scraping against the rough ground. I taste blood as I push myself back up, legs trembling with exhaustion. Family comes first. The words echo in my head, taking on new meaning with each painful step. Yes, family comes first. But after today, I'm redefining what family means. If I survive this desert, if I make it back to civilization, nothing will ever be the same. I'll never again be the Odessa who gives and gives until there's nothing left. The registration papers for my car are still in my wallet, pressed against my hip as I walk. My car, my life, my choice. I take another step forward, then another. The horizon wavers in the heat, but I keep moving. I have to believe that something better waits beyond this desert. I have to believe that someone will help me. I have to believe that I'm worth saving. 3 miles later, I finally manage to receive a signal. Dial 921-1 and ask for help. 10 minutes later, the police and emergency vehicle arrived, helped me with my wounds, and took me to the nearest police station. Now at Thursdayen, the Officer Wilson's hand on my shoulder is steady, the first kindness I've felt in hours. His cruiser's air conditioning chills my sunburnt skin as he passes me a bottle of water. "Ma'am, abandoning someone in the desert is a serious offense," he says. His voice gentle but firm. "Your sister could face criminal charges." I gulp the water, my throat still raw. "She just left me there." The words sound hollow, inadequate to describe the betrayal. "Miss Matthews, this wasn't just reckless." Officer Wilson taps his computer screen. "Your sister has 3 prior charges for reckless driving, all paid for by your parents." My hand freezes mid-sip. "What?" He turns the screen toward me, and there it is, Bella's name, 3 separate incidents, fines totaling over $2,000, all marked PAD. How did I not know about this? The question slips out, meant more for myself than him. "Family can keep secrets," he says, watching me carefully, especially when money's involved. My phone buzzes in the cup holder where it's been charging. I'd barely had enough battery to make the emergency call when a car spotted me on the roadside. 3 missed calls from Mom. 5 from Dad. 1 text from Bella. They're freaking out. "Just come home and we can fix this." Suddenly, a burst of messages arrive. My mom accidentally added me into a group chat I have never seen before. I scroll up through the message history, looking for some explanation. When I see the pattern of their plan, she's being stubborn about the car, we need to teach her a lesson. My stomach lurches. I keep scrolling. "Dad, don't do anything drastic." "Mom, just make sure the car stays in the family. If she can't sell it, she can't leave." "Bella, I'll handle it. She'll realize she needs us." Officer Wilson notices my hands shaking. "Miss Matthews, are you all right?" "They planned it," I whisper, turning the phone so he can see. "They wanted to strand me." "Ah." His expression hardens as he reads. "This changes things. This is premeditated. Abandonment. An unauthorized use of a vehicle." I close my eyes, memories washing over me like the desert heat. The family loans I was pressured to give $500 for Bella's spring break trip. $300 for her phone bill when she'd spent her money on concert tickets. My account balance perpetually hovering near zero while I paid for family expenses. "I kept every receipt," I murmur, opening my eyes. "Every bank statement. I didn't know why I was saving them." "Dennett, that was smart," Officer Wilson says, typing something into his computer. "Documentation matters in cases like this." Cases? The word feels foreign on my tongue. Financial exploitation often accompanies emotional abuse. He speaks matter-of-factly, without judgment. "Your registration and insurance are in your name?" I nod, pulling my wallet from my pocket. The registration is still there, folded and worn but intact. "I'd like to introduce you to someone," he says, starting the cruiser. "Judge Martin regularly comes to your diner, I believe?" He offers free legal consultations. My temporary waitressing job, 7 years and counting. How many opportunities had I declined because family needed me? The manager position I turned down last fall. The night classes I dropped when Bella needed transportation to her social events. "I have a friend?" I say suddenly, surprising myself. "Jackie, from work. She mentioned her spare room once." Officer Wilson nods. "Good. You shouldn't go back to that house tonight." My phone buzzes again, Dad calling. I silence it. "We'll need to get your car back," Officer Wilson continues. "I can escort you there tomorrow." The thought of facing them sends a wave of nausea through me, but I straighten my shoulders. "Tonight? I want my car tonight." An hour later, we pull into my parents' driveway. My Chevy sits in its usual spot, dusty from the desert roads. Jackie waits in her Honda at the curb, a silent promise of sanctuary. Mom opens the door before we reach it, her practiced tears already flowing. Odessa, thank goodness you're safe. We've been so worried. Behind her, Dad stands with his arms crossed. Bella peeks from the hallway, her expression unreadable. Miss Isabella Matthews? Officer Wilson's voice carries an authority I've never possessed. I need to speak with you about abandoning your sister in a life-threatening situation. It was just a misunderstanding, Mom interjects, reaching for my arm. I step back, her fingers grasping air. We have the text messages, Mrs. Matthews, Officer Wilson says calmly. The color drains from her face. I'm taking my car, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. And my things. You can't just... Dad begins. Actually, sir, she can. Officer Wilson interrupts. The vehicle is registered in her name. Using it without permission is a criminal offense. Bella steps forward, tears welling in her eyes. Odessa, I'm sorry. I didn't think... Save it. I cut her off, the nickname I once loved now sounding like an insult. I saw the texts. 10 minutes later, and one small suitcase, I walk to my car, hands trembling as I unlock it. Officer Wilson supervises as I transfer my essential belongings into the back seat. Clothes, documents, the small lockbox containing my savings passbook. When I slide behind the wheel, my hands grip the steering wheel like it's a lifeline. In the rearview mirror, I see my family frozen in the doorway, their perfect facade finally cracking, pressured by Officer Wilson. I drive away, following Jackie's taillights, toward a future suddenly, terrifyingly my own. 2 weeks later, after I move to my friend's house at work, the whispers follow me like a shadow through Martha's diner. They cling to the worn vinyl booths where I've served countless plates of meatloaf special, and apple pie a la mode for 7 years. Did you hear about poor Marianne's daughter? Mrs. Caldwell's voice carries from table 8, intentionally loud enough for me to catch as I refill coffee mugs. Apparently she's having some sort of breakdown, left home without a word. I steady the coffee pot, my knuckles white around the handle. 3 tables to go, just keep pouring. Well, after what happened in the desert, her companion replies, voice dropping to a theatrical whisper. Frank at the sheriff's office said Bella's story checks out. The girl's been unstable for months. The coffee sloshes over the rim of a mug, narrowly missing Mr. Henderson's newspaper. He glances up, offering a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. No worries, Odessa. Heard your folks are worried sick about you. The diner suddenly feels too small, the air too thick. 2 weeks since the desert, since Officer Wilson drove me to Jackie's apartment with my rescued car. 2 weeks of my mother's carefully cultivated stories spreading through our town of 8,000 souls. More cream, please, Mr. Henderson adds, studying my face with uncomfortable intensity. I nod and retreat to the counter where Jackie works the register, her eyes tracking me with concern. Vultures, she mutters. All of them. The bell above the door jingles. My father steps inside, his Sunday suit pressed and perfect at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. The diner falls silent as conversations pause, forks hover mid-air, and every eye watches this public performance. Odessa, his voice carries the weight of authority he's wielded my entire life. Your mother hasn't slept since you left. 7 customers, 3 waitresses, and Martha herself all pretend not to listen. I feel my shoulders curve inward, the familiar posture of making myself smaller in his presence. We need to talk, daughter, in private. I glance toward Martha, who stands with arms crossed behind the counter. She gives a subtle nod toward the back hallway. Permission to step away. More than that, permission to choose. I'm working, Dad. My voice sounds foreign to my own ears. Steady. Certain. My shift ends at 4. His eyes narrow slightly, scanning the diner before returning to my face. This isn't like you, Odessa. We raised you better than this. Better than what, exactly? The words escape before I can trap them behind my teeth. A muscle twitches in his jaw. Your mother is heartbroken. I'm sorry to hear that. And part of me truly is. The dutiful daughter they cultivated still lives inside me, whispering that good girls don't cause their mothers pain. We can discuss this at home. Where you belong. Home. The word lands like a fist. The house where my bedroom walls remained bare while Bella's overflowed with treasures. Where my paychecks disappeared into family emergencies that somehow always centered around my sister. My home is with Jackie right now. Dad's eyes harden. Family stands by family. Odessa Lynn. Yes. I meet his gaze squarely. They do. The diner door jingles again, and my heart sinks as Bella enters, eyes red-rimmed and puffy. Her practiced vulnerability draws immediate sympathy from the room. My sister, who left me to die in the desert, now the picture of remorse in her pale blue sundress. Odessa? She whispers, voice cracking perfectly. Please. She approaches slowly, aware of our audience. My regular Tuesday customers watch with undisguised interest, the Matthews. Family drama playing out between the lunch and dinner rush. I've been trying to call you, Bella continues, tears spilling down her cheeks. I know what I did was terrible. I was scared and stupid. And I didn't think. I say nothing, feeling the weight of expectation from everyone watching. The script calls for forgiveness now, the magnanimous older sister embracing the prodigal younger one. I've been seeing someone, Bella continues, voice dropping. A therapist? I have. Issues with jealousy. With you having things I don't? Mr. Robertson at the counter nods approvingly. Mrs. Caldwell dabs at her eyes with a napkin. Please come home, Bella finishes, reaching for my hand. Mom needs you. Dad needs you. I need you. 7 years of waitressing have taught me to read people. This performance isn't for me. It's for our audience. For the whispers that will follow. Did you see how that poor girl begged for forgiveness while her sister just stood there like stone? I'm glad you're getting help, I say finally, stepping back from her touch. But I can't come home right now. Dad's face darkens. Your mother is a grown woman who'll manage? I interrupt, surprising myself again with this new voice. This new strength. I need to finish my shift. The car, he says quietly, deliberately. We've been making payments on it. A laugh escapes me before I can catch it, sharp and unexpected. No, Dad, you haven't. I reach beneath the counter for my bag, pulling out a worn folder I've carried every day since the desert. The physical weight of it in my hands gives me courage. I've kept everything, I tell him, opening the folder to reveal neat rows of payment receipts spanning 7 years. Every shift, every tip, every payment. It's all documented. The shock that flashes across his face is worth every paper cut from. Organizing these records late at night at Jackie's kitchen table. Worth every hour spent with Judge Martin learning about financial manipulation and documentation. This is ridiculous, Dad sputters. We're your family. Yes, you are. I close the folder gently. And this is my boundary. The diner has gone completely silent. I feel Jackie move to stand beside me, her presence solid and sure. I think you should leave now, Martha says from behind the counter, her voice brooking no argument. Odessa has customers waiting. Dad's face reddens. Bella's tears dry up remarkably fast as she realizes her performance has failed. This isn't over, Dad says quietly. Actually, I reply, it is. After they leave, Martha puts her hand on my shoulder. Take 10 minutes. Then table 12 needs more coffee. In the back hallway, I lean against the wall, my heart hammering against my ribs. My phone buzzes with a text from Officer Wilson. Just checking in. You safe? I type back. Yes, they came to the diner. I'm okay. Another buzz. Judge Martin this time. My daughter Sarah has a room opening in her duplex. $650 a month, utilities included. Interested? I stare at the message, at the possibility of walls that are truly mine. My hands shake as I open the paralegal course website Judge Martin showed me last week when he came to my work. The application deadline is tomorrow. The classes would fit around my diner for the first time since the desert, I allow myself to imagine. A life beyond this town, beyond the whispers, beyond the constant pull of family obligation. A life where no is a complete sentence. Where boundaries aren't declarations of war, but simple statements of fact. I type back to Judge Martin. Very interested. When can I see it? 10 minutes later, I return to the diner floor, coffee pot in hand. Mrs. Caldwell and her friend fall silent as I approach their table. More coffee? I ask, my voice steady. Mrs. Caldwell studies my face, searching for cracks. Your poor mother called me this morning. She's beside herself with worry. I pour the coffee precisely to the rim, Not a drop spilled this time. That's between her and her therapist, I imagine. Her mouth opens, then closes. I move to the next table, feeling something unfamiliar stretching through me. Not quite peace, not quite power, but something close to both, growing stronger with each step I take. A week later, I decided to fully escape from my family, so I came to collect all the things that are left at the house. The police cruiser idles at the curb, a silent guardian, as I slide the last box into Jackie's hatchback. Officer Wilson stands with arms crossed, his presence transforming my childhood home into unfamiliar territory. "Need anything else from inside, Miss Matthews?" he asks, sunlight glinting off his badge. "Just one more thing." My footsteps echo through rooms, suddenly small and foreign. In my bedroom, stripped of everything except the furniture that was never truly mine, I run my fingers along the windowsill, where I once pressed my forehead against cool glass, dreaming of escape. The walls hold 17 years of whispered plans, of calculations scribbled by flashlight, of promises I made to myself while Bella's laughter floated from downstairs. Mom appears in the doorway, her face arranged in the expression that once paralyzed me with guilt. "Odessa, please. We can talk about this like adults." I say nothing, moving past her with measured steps. "Your father hasn't slept since you left," she calls after me. "Is that what you wanted?" The words slide off me like rainwater. My silence is unfamiliar to her, a language she can't manipulate. In the living room, Dad paces near the fireplace while Bella perches on the couch, mascara-smudged eyes watching my every move. "That car contains personal gifts I purchased," Bella announces as I reach the door. "I should at least get those back." I turn, finally meeting her gaze. "Itemize them. Send the list to Officer Wilson. With receipts." Her mouth opens, then closes. We both know no such receipts exist. Outside, I slide into Jackie's passenger seat. Through the windshield, I watch my family's tableau, 3 figures framed in the doorway, suddenly powerless without my participation in their drama. "Done?" Jackie asks, starting the engine. "Done." 40 minutes later, I sit cross-legged on Jackie's floor, laptop balanced on my knees. My finger hovers over the button, hesitating only briefly before clicking publish. The car listing goes live, priced just below market value to guarantee a quick sale. I close my eyes, breathing deeply as I create a new email address, separating my digital identity from the one my family knows. That night, my phone vibrates against the hardwood floor, Dad's number. I silence it without looking at the message, adding it to the growing collection of unheard threats and manipulations. "Your father called the landlord," Jackie says, appearing in the doorway with 2 mugs of coffee. "Tried claiming you have outstanding debts that make you a rental risk?" I accept the coffee, unsurprised. "What did Mr. Grayson say?" "Told your dad he's known you since you were 16 bussing tables, and maybe he should worry more about his own credit score." She grins, sitting beside me. Small towns cut both ways. My phone lights up again, Mom's number. Against better judgment, I glance at the message preview. "Emergency room? Please call." It's serious. 10 minutes pass. 20. My hands shake slightly, muscle memory of decades of urgent family summons. But I continue typing job application answers, letting the phone sit untouched. An hour later, it buzzes with a text from my cousin Sarah. "For your information, your mom's fine, playing bridge at Aunt Linda's, thought you should know." The knot in my stomach loosens. Another test failed. Morning brings unexpected allies. My regular customers at the diner have formed a protective circle after Bella's tearful performance yesterday. My sister posted a heartbreaking message on Facebook but got laughed at. Mrs. Abernathy stops me between coffee refills, her weathered hand catching mine. "Heard about that social media nonsense your sister posted," she says. "Don't you worry. We set the record straight at Bible study." Days later, the pastor's wife pointedly asks about my desert ordeal, while Bella stands frozen at the pharmacy counter. Officer Wilson mentions the abandonment case at the hardware store, where Dad buys his fishing gear. Judge Martin speaks quietly with our church elders about troubling family patterns after Sunday service. The town's invisible communication network, once weaponized against me, now carries a different current. Then one Monday morning, my phone chimes with an email notification. The car sold. Full asking price, cash, pickup, tomorrow. My ticket to Phoenix made real. 30 minutes later, a court clerk calls. Miss Matthews, your restraining order hearing has been moved up. Judge Franklin reviewed the evidence, particularly the prior driving incidents. It's been granted. I hang up, hands steady for the first time in weeks. 2 hours later, another call my potential employer in Phoenix. We'd like to offer you the position, the HR director says. Actually, we can do a bit better than the salary we discussed. That evening, Dad calls from an unfamiliar number. His voice lacks its usual resonance when I answer. We should negotiate, he says, the word foreign in his mouth. Come to some arrangement that works for everyone. I watched the sun set through Jackie's kitchen window, the same Arizona sky that witnessed my abandonment now bearing witness to my rebirth. There's nothing to negotiate. I tell him quietly. I'm not asking for anything from you anymore. I end the call as Mom's church friend Elaine texts, thinking of you, missed. Your mother at the fundraiser tonight. Several people asking questions. Their world is shrinking just as mine expands, the scales rebalancing, finally and completely. A week later, on Tuesday afternoon, after I finished the shift, the letter trembles in my hand as I read it again, the handwriting unmistakably belonging to Mrs. Pearson, our family friend of 20 years. Your father's heart condition has worsened with the stress. The doctor says family healing is critical to his recovery. Your mother promises things will be different now. Please come for one last family dinner before you leave town, Thursday at 6. I fold the paper along its creases and tuck it into my pocket. The familiar weight of manipulation settles in my stomach, but something has changed. The sensation no longer cripples me. I have called the doctor to check my father's condition, and the doctor confirmed he hasn't seen my dad in months. You don't have to go, Jackie says from her position on the couch, feet propped on a coffee table scattered with paralegal textbooks. That's the thing about boundaries, you get to enforce them. Al, I know. I zip my overnight bag shut. Phoenix awaits on Friday, new apartment, new job, new life. But I need this. For me. Jackie twirls her car keys. I'll wait outside. First sign of trouble, I'm coming in with air horns and confetti. I just nod and finalize packing. On Thursday evening, the drive to my childhood home passes in silence. Each landmark we pass: the diner where I worked double shifts, the bank where I deposited every tip, the high school where Bella was homecoming queen while I worked weekends, feels like turning pages in a book I've finally finished reading. Jackie parks across the street. You've got this, she says, squeezing my hand. Remember what Judge Martin said. Don't engage with emotional manipulation. Stick to facts. I recite the words that have become my mantra. And I deserve peace. My parents' house looks smaller somehow. The front door opens before I reach it, my mother appearing with arms outstretched, wearing the yellow cardigan she saves for church and family photos. Odessa, she whispers, voice thick with rehearsed emotion. You came. I step past her embrace. For closure, not reconciliation. The dining room tableau could win awards for calculated nostalgia. My father sits at the head of the table, his face arranged in a mask of patriarchal concern. Bella occupies her usual place at his right hand, eyes red-rimmed and darting nervously toward me. My childhood favorites crowd the table: fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole. Photo albums stand propped against the centerpiece. A medical prescription bottle sits prominently near my father's water glass. Sit down, Odessa. Dad gestures to my old spot. Family dinner isn't complete without everyone present. I remain standing, clutching the folder I brought. How's your heart condition, Dad? His hand reflexively touches his chest. The doctor says stress is the primary factor. Interesting. I set my folder on the table. Because I called Dr. Winters 2 days ago. He hasn't seen you in 8 months, and your last checkup showed perfect cardiac health. The silence expands like desert heat. Dad recovers first. Blood is thicker than water, Odessa. Whatever issues we've had. That's not even the correct quote, I interrupt. The full proverb is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It means, chosen relationships are stronger than forced family ties. It means, Bella pushes forward, tears spilling. I was jealous of your independence. The way you always knew what you wanted. I'm so sorry about the desert. I didn't come for apologies. I opened my folder. I came because I needed to understand why. One by one, I lay out my evidence. A childhood calendar color-coded to show Bella's activities versus my chores. Bank statements highlighting thousands spent on her while I worked. Psychology articles about golden child, scapegoat dynamics, highlighted passages glowing under the dining room light. What is all this? Mother's voice wavers. Documentation. I tap the folder. Every missed school event because someone needed to help at home. Every time my car was borrowed without permission. Every family emergency that mysteriously coincided with my job interviews. My father's face darkens. You kept records? Against your own family? I kept records because no one else acknowledged my reality. My voice remained steady, surprising even me. I needed to prove to myself I wasn't crazy. My mother rises, hands fluttering. After all we've done for you. That's exactly the problem. The words flow without rehearsal. You've never seen what I've done for you. The double shifts. The canceled plans. The dreams deferred. You called it family duty when it benefited you and selfishness when it benefited me. Bella reaches for my hand across the table. I step back. I'm not here for reconciliation, I say, meeting each pair of eyes. I'm here for closure. I release you from any obligation to me and myself from any obligation to you. I place my house key on the table. The small brass key that once represented home now symbolizes a door I'm choosing to close. What about Christmas? What about Christmas? My mother asks, voice small. Thanksgiving? I'll be with people who respect my boundaries. I gather my documentation, sliding it back into the folder with calm precision. I wish you healing. All of you. My father stands. Anger replacing his calculated concern. If you walk out that door, you'll what? I ask, genuinely curious. Abandon me in the desert? Take my car? Question my worth? You've already done your worst. Bella sobs into her hands, my mother clutches her cardigan, and my father towers with impotent rage. The scene should devastate me. Instead, I feel a curious lightness. Goodbye, I say simply. I walk out without tears or drama, closing the door with gentle finality. The night air fills my lungs with something that feels remarkably like freedom. Jackie waits in her car, window rolled down. You did it, she says, hand warm on my shoulder. I did. I look back at the house one last time. Now I can start. We drive away from the past toward tomorrow's horizon. For the first time in 25 years, my shoulders carry only their own weight. 6 months later, the morning sun streams through gauzy curtains. I picked myself, painting golden patterns across my small Phoenix apartment. I trace my fingers over the paralegal textbook on my desk, neon highlighter. Marks transforming legal jargon into stepping stones toward my future. My first office paycheck, still in its envelope, is pinned to the corkboard. Above, tangible proof that waitressing at Rosie's Diner is finally behind me. I pause before dialing the phone company. One deep breath, then another. I'd like to change my number permanently, I tell the customer service representative, my voice steady. When she asks if I want to notify anyone of the change, I simply say, no thank you. The small click as I hang up feels monumental. 6 months later, I'm driving my new-to-me Honda along that same stretch of desert highway. The steering wheel feels different under my hands, this car purchased with my own money, chosen for reliability rather than someone else's approval. I recognize the mile marker where Bella abandoned me. But today I pull over by choice. The Arizona sunset transforms the landscape into a watercolor painting crimson and gold washing over sand and cacti. I step out, boots crunching on gravel, and breathe deeply. The vastness that once terrified me now feels like possibility stretching toward the horizon. You're making progress, doctor, Schaefer told me during yesterday's therapy session. Boundaries aren't walls, they're healthy definitions of where you end and others begin. Those boundaries have allowed me to build something new. Tuesday potlucks with XIO workers, weekend hikes with Phoenix locals who've become friends, Sunday afternoons volunteering at Desert Bloom Women's Shelter, where I sit across from women whose eyes mirror what mine once held. I understand feeling trapped, I tell them, and mean it. Last Christmas, instead of forcing myself through another performance of family harmony, I drove to Jackie's parents' house 3 hours north. Her mother hugged me without expectation. Her father carved the turkey without commentary on my life choices. They asked questions and actually listened to my answers. The apartment buzzer interrupts my memories of the desert, my housewarming gathering modest but meaningful. Officer Wilson arrives first, having driven up from my hometown with Judge Martin. "Place looks good," Wilson says, handing me a potted cactus. "Suits you strong, independent?" Martha, from the diner, bustles in bearing her famous apple pie. "Finally," she says, squeezing my hand. "Someone appreciated your worth." Later, glasses raised in my living room, Judge Martin offers a toast to new beginnings and found family. The support group I started meets Thursdays in the community center. Family Scapegoats Anonymous sounds dramatic, but the relief on people's faces when they realize they're not alone is worth any awkwardness. Last week, I received an anonymous letter from my hometown. "Watching you stand up for yourself gave me courage to do the same. When Bella's number appears on my phone after she begged Jackie for it, I answer calmly. I listen to her explanations, her tentative olive branch. I wish you healing," I tell her when she finally pauses, but my boundaries remain. The simple peace I feel hanging up surprises me. Their approval or lack thereof no longer defines me. Today, driving with the windows down along the open highway, wind tangling my hair, I catch my reflection in the rearview mirror. The woman looking back has strength in her eyes and peace in her smile. The desert stretches endless and beautiful around me. No longer a trap, but a testament to how far I've come. What would you have done in Odessa's place? Would you have pressed charges against your sister, or was the restraining order enough?